Log, Stardate 7/2/2024. Happy July to you. And, well, it's been a few days, hasn't it? The errors in the game over the past couple of days have prevented a great many people, including myself, from actually getting things done. So in order to bring you the best quality content, we gave it a rain check. But today we have an awful lot to talk about, so let's begin. So first up on the screen here, let's take a look here at the new Vengeful Polestar. Yes, indeed, the Vengeful collection is live. And just like we did with the Playful Polestar release, there's a lot of updates to talk about, and also a lot of profit to be made, so we'll jump back into that. We're going to lead off also with just a quick note on the errors. We did get some compensation earlier today, so we do see here a greetings captains the last couple of days, I think maybe just yesterday, but some errors prevented the use of certain features. So what we were seeing was even just attacking with the fleet boss battles was causing failures, and that's what my fleet ran into. We all suffered from that. Really, taking care of most things in the game, including maintaining your voyage, just became a whole lot more difficult and just not even worth trying to do. So this looks like a pretty comprehensive package here. They've covered most bases. Typically, whenever we see this sort of compensation, it will include a voyage token. If they also had an interesting note at the bottom here. If you believe you require further assistance or help, please don't hesitate. I don't remember seeing that terminology before. It really kind of opens the door saying, hey, if you don't think this is enough, please just talk to us about it. So, if that applies to you, please, by all means. So for myself, I'm happy to have had a day off. So I think we're all pretty good here. So let's look at the other mail that came into our inbox today. We have the new announcement for the next campaign. It's getting hot in here. I'm not going to sing for you. The announcement does introduce us to Kamal Booker, who we'll be looking at on the big book very shortly. Also a little confusing here. They've called out 2 different 4-star crew as the rewards for the campaign, which I don't think can really be the case. In fact, let me take a look here at the formal announcement. Yep, sure enough, in the artwork we have our new legendary and then 2 purples, which would be the first time the campaign's premium level, that's the mid-level, the $10 buy-in, would only get you a purple crew. So our best guess is it's either going to be Bees Jake, but most likely it's going to be Desert Ben Cisco, and they just got the wrong Cisco in there. Who knows? We'll see what actually goes live in about a week's time when the next campaign comes up. But in the meantime, I am a little more curious on exactly how Kamal Booker himself looks. So let's take a quick review of the crew here. So we have a security psi diplomacy crew. Reasonable security, and clocking in at a voyage rank of number 34 overall. A few other things to really look at here. We have a pretty high rated ship ability in the top 50, but overall this looks like a tier 4 crew, and this is not unusual. I think this is about the strength that we're used to seeing campaign crew at the supremium level going for. Before we look at the voyage score in this skill triplet here, let's take a look at the ship ability. So Kamal Booker's ship ability, the further I am from here, the better. So it's a +7 attack, which is extremely low compared to the +10s that we're used to seeing on fully fused crew. This does have a position trigger and increases the attack boost to +12. We haven't really seen... this is a common ship ability. As a matter of fact, this is probably a carbon copy. I'm going to just guess that they've copied nearly everything from some other existing crew, and sure enough, I do a search here. Hey, who is it but Frantic McCoy? The early game player is absolute boon. Frantic McCoy gets you in Gauntlet, boosts up your USS Constellation when you're fighting fleet boss battles. Just a fantastic crew overall. Kamal Booker gives you more of what you already have. There's just absolutely no reason to have true crew like this. So Kamal Booker, I doubt will be, especially if he's only backed by 2 other purples in the campaign, I doubt will be a common purchase for people that, like me, do not buy every single campaign and are very choosy about how they spend the money. Enough about the ship ability. Let's look at the voyage rating here. So Kamal Booker, sec, psi, dip in that exact order. Looks like he is... Did he have any outperformers? No, but he is a little bit behind some other crew in the game. Obviously, the premium Mirror 2 VOC available from the faction store, if you get lucky and roll into it on a certain day, might beat him. In his exact order, his skill set is number 1, as well as for the primary, the triplet and the pair. But sec, psi, and psi sec are ones that we see pretty frequently. Let's take a look at the history on the triplet in any order here. Cisco the Emissary just keeps coming up on these videos. If you don't already have him, you got to get him. He beats so many of the crew that we review. He started strong, he's staying strong. It's just a fantastic retrieve choice. and then a whole bunch of also Rands that have just come out over the past year or so. Let's look at Kamal's Voy rank. 5300 is relatively strong in general, but for this skill pair and skill triplet, just, there's a whole lot of substitutions you can get for crew that have come out recently that are fairly strong that'll get you there. He's just not unique in my opinion, so I don't think that this crew really brings anything to the table that I'm really excited to see. Let's just look at the pair here. So upcoming soon, we haven't talked about morphing Vedic yet, but she will be the prize for two weekends from now. We just wrapped up our faction event, and so we're going to see morphing Vedic. I believe it's going to be a skirmish event that she features in, so we'll see her shortly. So one thing I like to do, so we do have the Vengeful trait dropping today. I'd like to go back in the game, and we'll just take a quick look and see what the state of the game is with Vengeful here. There's going to be a few changes, and we'll highlight some of the winners of the Vengeful trait in a moment here. But what I would like to do first is just jump around and take a look in the Celestial Market and see what's going on here. So I'm going to just, before I do, I want to go to all items alphabetically and then just search for the trait. Now this is unique, just like Playful, because this is a trait that's being overlaid onto existing crew. We never had the trait Vengeful in the game before, although there are a few crew that, invoke vengeance, and certainly those have been added to the collection. But let's see here. It looks like, and I spoiled this for myself a little bit earlier, some intrepid soul has gone and completely bought out the entire Celestial Market of every single constellation that featured Vengeful, except for this 6-digit, extremely overpriced Fenris Ranger 7. So if you're looking to buy any pole stars, any constellations, you are out of luck today. And specifically the pole stars, none are actually up for sale right now. So one thing about this collection, let's actually go and look at the collection in the Cryostasis Vault. Alright, here's our collection, a score to settle. So looking here on the right hand side, there are 36 total crew in this collection currently that feature the Vengeful trait. So with Playful, I think we saw just under 100. Some of the largest collections have hundreds and hundreds of crew, like Resourceful. So this is relatively small. And as far as the rewards that we can earn, we have a couple of command buffs, a couple of dip rolls, and then a combination of the dip core and dip rolls, dip proficiencies, at the final milestone at 25. So I think this will be a somewhat easy collection to complete. Let's take a look at what we have here. 1, 2, 3, about 5, 10, 15 purples. So more than half of the collection can be completed just with purples alone. Retroactively added to just even the green Seska, instant Seska. So if you've already got your greens and blues out of the way, that's another 5. So just with the non-legendaries alone, you've likely already reached 20 crew, and so it's really just a stone's throw to get to the maximum level here. Also, real popular card, City Alpha 5 Con, which I have immortalized, and you probably should too. It's just a fantastic retrieve choice. But then there's a whole lot of crew that really haven't seen a whole lot of collections before. Shinzon, maybe he'll go up a threshold, we don't know yet. Kevin Uxbridge, awful, just like tier 10 crew, just one of the worst. So there are some existing crew that get a little bit of a benefit, but generally I'm not seeing a whole lot of the ones where you really want to be for voyages, for event usage. This is kind of a tough collection in terms of overall value, but it does help to boost some crew that just had very little or no value before. So before we open up some pole stars and see if we can crack one and sell it today, I'm gonna pull you back into the big book here. Actually, let's go to Datacore today, because what I have for you here, Datacore has been updated actually very quickly after this collection drops. So kudos to the team, Irony Writ and the rest at Datacore that were right on top of this today, right at noon. Fantastic job, guys, and thank you. So if we just search for Vengeful, we have everybody in the game that we really want to see here. We can do a few more filters here. Let's filter by legendary and see which of the legendary crew really got a benefit. So Heroic Shaw is not in the portal yet. You can't retrieve him, and probably isn't going to make the cutoff for the. Well, we'll see. I don't know. He's probably right on the bubble for the portal update that's incoming. But this crew only had one collection at debut, much to our chagrin, but it looks like he'll be picking up his first today. Let's see who else among... Yep, Kevin Uxbridge. He may actually graduate to tier 9. We'll see. It may happen. I doubt it. And Commodore Matt Decker. So this is an interesting crew. Let's look at Matt Decker's screen here. And so Matt Decker originally had so few traits that he was actually unretrievable at 100%. So this crew was only HSF, and then Desperate and Veteran. Desperate is an enormous collection. Veteran not so much, but still just shared too many traits with others. But Vengeful finally makes him 100% retrievable. This crew has 100% Polestar combinations now, every single one of them featuring Vengeful. So if you needed to get the last star on Commodore Mad Decker, I think we got like a random copy of him in a, I know I had one laying around that I never chosen to behold. But he's a fun, he's a hammer if you really need one in the very early game. And so it's possible to really get a little bit of early mileage out of this crew. Again, don't go out of your way, and certainly not right now, because the Vengeful Polestar is going to go for a mint when it finally starts hitting the celestial market. So I think it's a mistake to really kind of go out of your way for this gentleman. Even though he does fit the theme of the Fleet Boss battles, he's not particularly useful with. Let's look at another big winner here of the new Vengeful is Vengeful Lorel. So this crew previously only had Star Trek Discovery, Ruthless Aggression, and the Klingon collection. So now this is her 4th collection, and again an unretrievable crew. So this crew only now has 3 combinations. All of them, I guess this one's probably pretty affordable. Brutal, Klingon, Vengeful, if you can afford or have the Vengeful Polestar. So this actually may be a slightly better crew if you really needed to finish her off and we're just having the hardest time pulling her out of packs. Now if you need that 5th star on her to get all that collection value, you can retrieve her. But the biggest winner, I'd say, overall is Pawraith Colt Dukat. Now up to 7 collections. Incredible. 7 collections. So this crew also notable because he's got one of the highest equipment ceilings in the game. Currently with Ancient Bajoran Texts, an Orb of Prophecy and Change Both, and the Shackling Horror, one of the newest equipments that we got. Cardassian Ancestry Device. You could put 4 full legendary equipments on this crew. 3 dips and a command, and they all fit. It's his primary and secondary. One of the highest ceilings in the game. Some people are talking about using him in the Voyage events just because of the sheer amount that you can stack on top of him and send him off. So we'll see if that materializes. And in the meantime, there's really no reason not to retrieve him. His retrievals have certainly gotten broader now, but with all the traits that he had, Pawraith Colt Dukat was not a trouble to retrieve at all. I think now he's probably gotten pushed up to a higher priority on my retrieve list, because I do need to finish off a few more crew to finish the Score to Settle collection. So I'm going to go a little bit lower here, because there actually is a crew that had no collections before that finally picked up his first collection, and he's at the Super Rare. And here's Croden, another kind of a joke of a crew that came out about a year ago with 0 collections. And now, guess what? Well, he's now going to be one of your playful, one of your Vengeful. If you had frozen and forgotten him from the grave, he's going to add a little bit of value to your roster, which is nice. Also, Vindicta Mariner, look at her. One of the most important crew in the game for a growing roster and for established rosters as well. Unlimited use hammer, fully retrievable 8 collections. Wow, just a fantastic crew overall. But Bajoran Dukat 8 collections now. These are where to be, man. If you snapped up Dukat Polestars before this happened, then good on you, because you had some big value after that. Oh, and one more thing, the Duras sisters. This old fusion crew has finally gotten some extra value. Used to only have the Klingon collection, and now by the power of 2, she has 2 collections. So I think that's about all I have to say about the Vengeful collection here, other than let's see if we can profit off of it. So we're going to jump back over to the game here. We're going to go into our inventory, and let's see which of my Polestars. Now, I didn't stock up on this like I did the last one, but I got to go to my collections here. Let's search by Vengeful, and look, hey, I got a couple of Bajoran Dukats, hey. Yeah, nothing I have a full stack of. And the thing about Bajoran Dukat and some of these crew that have just an absolute ton of traits on them is that the pool can be watered down. And so you may have, you will have a far less chance of actually getting a hit on Vengeful. But let's look at a crew that did not have a lot of collections beforehand and see if we can get lucky. Vengeful Lorel, I know, only had 4 traits beforehand, so let's see if we can turn hers in and get a big bonus here. Oh, that's a brutal pull. Oh well. Okay, that's it. I'm tapped out, so we only got the 1, but that's okay because we're gonna make a good amount of money off of that. So So out of everything, I have my single one. There's there's an order up right now for 65,000 ISM. I think that is pretty spicy, but we're going for broke here. So the Playful Polestar, like 3 times the size, 2 or 3 times the size of the collection. That means that it's 2 to 3 times more common than Vengeful. Also, many of the crew that Playful dropped from had very few traits, so it was relatively easy to get that Polestar. This is significantly more difficult. I think I'm going to go for broke here. List for sale. We're going for it. 195,000. Let's see. I'll let you know tomorrow if I get a bite. I'm certain I will. This is going to be one of the hardest to find in the game. And again, I would go even higher, honestly, if there were some really good retrieve targets. This is essential to get the retrieval on some crews, so that will certainly drive sales of it. But I think that in the long run, this will probably wind up dropping considerably, just because, at least for right now, there's not a whole lot of crew that you really need the Vengeful trait on. Going forward, though, they're starting to print a few more Vengeful crew, and so we'll keep an eye on that and see whether this will be required for them. If you were going to capitalize even further on the Celestial Market, beyond just opening up whatever you had in your inventory, I would go ahead and put some buy orders on Vengeful. So go sort by all items alphabetically. And then take any of these, like maybe some of the random middling ones, and pick your own. I mean, go ahead and take a look through, drop in an order or 3 or 10, and see what you could pick up over the next few days if you really want that Vengeful Polestar for your collection or what else. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I think that's a pretty good update, so thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Live long and prosper.